So this might be a different kind of video for you guys. I don't usually make videos where I'm looking at somebody else's YouTube channel, but this video, How to Be a Good YouTuber, I think, by Gus Johnson, he's a pretty massive YouTuber, has taught me a lot today. Because it's made me think about YouTube and what I'm making and what I'm doing with it. And I think that's a really cool thing to think about, actually, is what you're making and why you're making it and whether it's worth your time and why you should be doing it, etc. When I started YouTube back in the day, I wanted to make gameplay content. And that was really it. You know, when I look at this, what is it that I'm making that people would want to watch?
I don't get how this works.
You know, you look at that 10 seconds there, right? That's a lot happening in 10 seconds. There's no kind of crazy intro. He gets straight into it. And it makes me wonder whether what I'm doing is actually right. Like, why include the intro at the start? I mean, I could do it differently, I guess. Yeah, I know. I think, like, maybe I could do, like, the intro after, like, hi, guys, it's... like that. Yeah, that might be kind of good. It's stuff like that.
Ta-da! Welcome back to the desk. Shit's a mess.
Like, just in 20 seconds, so much is happening. What the hell is any of this? But the thing is that it's there's nothing here that doesn't need to be there. It's all like content. There's no filler. It's just it's a concentrated production. And maybe that's what I need to do, is make stuff where the content is concentrated and it's just worth people's time. Because it makes me wonder whether I mean, I guess maybe I'm wasting people's time by not doing as much editing as I probably need to in these videos. I don't know. I mean, I look at this. It's a very cool card, isn't it? It's a really cool card. I play a whole lot of this, but how would I turn this into a good video? Why don't we try it? We'll see. Hang on. What if I actually tried to make a video that was entertaining and interesting? Like, what if I actually put effort in? Just for shits and giggles, right? Just for shits and giggles. What if I tried to make a video that was really engaging, right? And I played this game, and even though it's probably the most boring game you've seen in a very long time, what if we just tried it and see what happened? Let's find out. Alright, so I think we're good. Welcome to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. I'm not great at this. I'm scared about doing moderate. I feel like I'm gonna get my butt handed to me, but we're gonna try it anyways and see how it goes, okay? This is a shit show. Fuck this. Now we're doing this again. We're gonna do this better this time. That was a complete fucking mess. So this is in post Logan here, SB Plays, telling you about this game, because holy sh! I recorded this first game like the first game where I lasted about 40 minutes. This second game lasted about 3 or 4 hours. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through what we did and how it happened. Okay. So, you know, we started off really nice, you know, really chill. And I didn't talk much in this because I think that I was just having a really bad time. I was really grumpy because I just wanted to win one game and then sleep. And I mean, I love sleeping. It's good. You know, just building some houses, doing that kind of stuff. And then, what else? Eventually I had some people building some farms and stuff like that, and you can see there's lots of wood there. And lots of people mining gold, and I've got a barracks. The barracks isn't really doing much, but it's doing something, you know what I mean? It's doing okay. We're just building up people here, trying to get into the next stage, doing our thing. You can see here we're a bit more classy, we've got a few more miners here. I'm versing the AI at the same moderate level. You can see that my territory is looking pretty sweet. I think I'm losing in terms of score, but the rest of the game is going really well so far. Yeah, really good. Starting to see a few of the AI characters here getting involved, like the red guy, like there's a knight there, and he's a pain in the ass at all times. I'm not really sure why I struggle so much with defending myself. I think it's just because I'm kind of shit at the game. But whatever. You can see there that we're having a look around. We're in the castle age now, which is some good progress, eh? Starting to have some issues now, as you can see with that red dot down in the map. You can probably see that there is a... Oh, where is it? Hang on a minute. Yeah, we got ourselves some archers there, some longbowmen. And we've got 2 trebuchets set up, so they're doing work, but not doing as much as I really need them to. I'm kind of messing around at this point. I don't really know how to cope with the fact that there's archers. I hadn't really set myself up well enough yet. Also, I'm a Slav. And there's just more archers here now. I had the bright idea of sending one person in to try and deal with the archers, because I'm just so incredible at Age of Empires 2, really. So at this point, there's also these green guys, right? And they're just hitting me with ships, and I'm like, hey, let's send mounted sword people after ships, because of course I do. Because this was late at night, and I was barely concentrating, you know. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I'm surprised I haven't gotten to the Imperial Age at this point. I had set up some people down here to try and cope with the ships though, which is good. But I had no wood because I'd only set up, and so it was just not ideal, man. It was just a bit of a bad time, really. You'll see what happens to this sort of setup here. It's pretty brutal. My ships are here just doing some damage to the other ships. There's a lot of ships. But the problem is that the success is not long-lived. Someone's already died, actually. Someone's already resigned, which is pretty savage. Pretty brutal. Yeah, I forgot about that. At this point, I was just sick of the green's shit. Yeah, see, look at this nastiness. I don't know how I survived this. I hate that sound. You know that tingly sound? I fucking hate that sound. It is the worst, man. I hate it so much. I detest it. The greens basically just wrecked my shit for the majority of the match. They were a nightmare to deal with. I don't want to play this game for a few days because of how this match went. But not to say the match went badly, necessarily. You know, it was just a little bit rough. I had a lot of I think I was just very anxious about what was going on, and I didn't really know how to cope with it, so I was just sending villagers to do random things. And looking at this gives me Anjana, which is not fun, really. So my city's basically in flames at this point. Not having a fun time. Would you believe we still have 2 hours of footage to go through? 2 hours. 2 hours of footage to go through at this point. And then into an 8.5 minute, 9 minute video so far. Holy crap. So eventually I did kind of get a force together to kind of deal with him. But I was just having a rough time, man. It wasn't good enough because I had all these siege weapons and stuff like that, and that was just... Wait, what? Has the Reds already given up? Well, apparently they're gone. Apparently we're now dealing with the big boys now. Oh, okay. It just happened so quickly, man. So quickly. I forgot that it was the Aztecs, or whoever, the Incas, who were the ones that did some pretty serious damage. I mean, just look at how ruthless this is, man. Look how ruthless this is. It doesn't seem like much at the moment, but it gets pretty crazy later on. So you can see at this point that my original town center has just been annihilated by the Incas. It's just, they just overwhelmed me. So I decided to move my town center to the bottom corner and kind of mess with it that way. I figured that was the best thing to do. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But this wasn't gonna last. So I had a good start and I was like, wait, I should probably escape. So I did. I took these villages and took them to the bottom. So what happened eventually is that I did end up setting up like stables and archeries here to try and sort of set up a secondary town base after they wiped out my first one, and it worked out okay, I guess. But the Incas, man, they were not going down without a fight. But then again, neither was I, because they destroyed my first base and I was pretty pissed off, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning and sunk cost fallacy, you know? What I realized at this point though was that I needed to get some wood because I was running out of it. I had plenty of food, but because I had my farms on auto rotate or auto recrop, whatever the hell. So at this point I was like, right, I need to do something about these Incas because they're going to destroy my second base if I'm not careful. I initially started with scouts, which I later upgraded to Huskars. However, what I eventually realized is that that was a rather not great way to deal with this, but we'll find that later. I did eventually try and push up a little bit more to try and cope with what was going on, but then they just kept coming back. They were the worst, man. They were the worst. So I went and took my main forces up, and then I had to bring them back down again to deal with this shit. Like, even on moderate, the computer's a sadist. You know what I mean? But it is kind of thug seeing them like. So I kept building up forces to try and deal with what was happening. I eventually realized the skirmishes were pretty dope. Although I also tried to use petards. And that was an interesting strategy that probably didn't serve me in the long run. But it did okay, you know, it was a good thing to mess around with at first. So my strategy was to like load myself up with petards and then just kinda, I was still rolling with scouts at this point, but I thought I was really smart. Not so. This wasn't a bad attempt, but you see how they're using a lot of trebuchets? I had no idea how the hell they were doing all this. I don't know where they got these supplies from. At least I didn't know until later on. It was very complicated, it wasn't the best way to approach it, and I wouldn't do it again. There were just too many of them to deal with at once, and so I was dealing with 4 different types of troop, and it was very complicated. And then that was kind of just kind of awkward, and that would start coming from the left and the right, which is pretty vicious, really. Not a massive fan of that, eh? Not a massive fan of that behavior. However, I did eventually get to a castle, and I started to get into using petards for this. However, I also realized, hey, that was kind of dumb. But not enough for me to, well, I tried it a second time, you see. Because I'm a slow learner. Look at this, I want you to just take note of how inefficient this is. I really should have used trebuchets, but I didn't. I just didn't. I mean, they got rid of the castle, but it was also a whole 50, 60 units, and I also was unprotected, which was dumb. However, I tried it again, because apparently I'm just a really slow learner. I forgot I did that 3 times. It's tiring looking at this, eh? I mean, I still did get rid of some castles, which is... I mean, you need to get rid of people's castles in this game. You just do. Because there's only a finite amount of stone, and then you have to start trading for it, and it's just a bitch. So at some point I was like, hey, maybe I should just use skirmishes because they appear to hold everyone off. And then use some trebuchets, right? And here's what happened with that. It actually worked really well. I got there. I got to there. You know. I got to there. It was effective. It was really effective. And because I had a good amount of skirmishes, I didn't really need to worry about the infantry. And I started bringing more in, which was super good. That was really good form on my part. The problem is that I tend to sometimes overestimate the power of my units. So I'll assume I have enough until it's too late. But yeah, the trebuchet was just a beast here. Really good. We got into that part where like the computer realizes it's starting to lose. And then it starts trying to rebuild stuff, and then you just destroy it before it can rebuild, so then you just get an instant, like... It's just a really positive feedback loop, because they try to build, then you destroy. They rebuild, they waste resources they can't replenish, which is how it is for stone stuff. And boom. It's really good. Like, it was pretty... I mean, we started to lose here a little bit, but we'd gotten rid of a lot more than we had when we weren't using the trebuchets, which I was pretty happy with. And that was just an example of me not calculating the amount of units I'd need cleverly enough. And here, we have another unit of these guys. We're a bit better prepared this time, I think. I hope. I really hope. Yeah, we just checked shop at this point. We had 2 trebuchets this time. Didn't let any get destroyed on the way up. Just got rid of the castle. No worries. No worries. It was just pretty sweet. This is why you gotta keep your castles. You lose your castle, you lose the game. Straight up. I'm not even joking, eh? There is something so satisfying about just watching a group of your units just destroy a town that has been shitting on you for an hour and a half. It's just so satisfying, eh? Because these Incas were such problem children, they were driving me nuts. So we just kept raining hellfire down on them. It was beautiful. I enjoyed this part a lot more than the first couple of hours of this recording, which you can probably imagine is... It's more than reasonable to enjoy something more when you're winning. I think I would have lost handily if the computer had been in a slightly higher mode, as I think I would roughly have doubled the amount of units they send per assault. And these guys are already building like a boss, you know, this is a well-built team. The problem was, at one point, I had no idea where the hell the other team was. It's because they moved, like I did. I didn't know where they were. So there was just this really long period of me exploring the map, and then also not knowing what to do, or where to go, because it was a large map. It's not like it was a super giant map or anything like that, but it was large enough to not know where the heck anything was. And it's a bit frustrating, really. I don't enjoy it very much, but that's just how the game is, and it means that ideally the computer can't find you that easily either. Eventually we did have a bit of a wander around and sort of try and see if we could find them. I kind of caught wind of a couple of them, so I just kind of followed the trail to see what we could discover on our merry journey across this thoroughly massacred natural sort of... Like, this place is just done. Look how many trees have been taken down. It was so beautiful, and now it's just been just razed to the ground. Really, but massive shame, really. But just goes to show, when you've got to win a match, you'll do anything you can to do so, right? Eventually we came across this town of purples and stuff. And, you know, it was a very curious situation, right? Because there were the Incas. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why are these around here? It's very weird. Very weird behavior. And then I found them. And then they started walking across. They were like little ants. And then I realized there was some pretty heavy shenanigans going on here. So they got a bit grumpy about that. They didn't really like me attacking their villagers. Kind of gave themselves away a little bit, which is a bit of a shame. But whatever, you know, we found them and that was the main thing. We found them and that was the main thing. And so we still had the original A team. And I was on about, what's that? How many points is that? How many points was that? I can't see in the... I can't see... Oh, 57,000. That's what I mean. That's pretty insane, eh? 57,000 points. And, you know, it's just... this. You could probably tell at this point that I'd maybe turn the match around a little bit. It is... The match had started to go in my favor just a wee bit. Eventually what we did was I found their base. And at this point they were done. They weren't going to be coming back from this. The last place they could go was to my side of the field. And that wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to allow them to go onto my turf. And the cheeky shits, right, were trying to build a castle again. Which I wasn't a massive fan of. So that got turned into custard pretty quickly, eh? But like when you think about this match and how crazy it was, for it to have been turned around like this is pretty incredible, eh? In all respect, pretty insane. They got more desperate as they went along, but they couldn't really do anything to cope with the tide of craziness that was going on here. It was pretty ridiculous. It's just a massacre, man. Much like they massacred me, I massacred them. No mercy. I think they're just about done now. Oh no, they've got the town center still. It actually surprises me that it took me that long to figure out that they had a town center. They're really trying though, like you gotta hand it to them now, they're really trying to save themselves. But it's just they're shit out of luck. But like if I hadn't been able to get myself a trebuchet or two, this match would have been pretty different. You must be done. Yep, done. And there we are. That is the incredible story of me winning a game of Age of Empires 2 on moderate. It's insane, dude. What happened? Look at what they set up. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Craziness. Thank you for watching this video. Stay cool. See you later. And I don't think I'll be recording one of these for a video again, but had fun anyways, you know? Bye bye.